optagfunktionen.
So welcome everybody. My name is Kelly Mabel, and this is the Community of Kind Minds. And I am more than happy to celebrate all of you, new and familiar, coming into the room. Yeah, Anne?
And my name is Staerk Dickson, and I'm from Aarhus in Denmark, and I am really excited to see you all. And if anybody of you are quite I've been thinking about this English part, then I have been as well, because this is my first time where I have to talk in English in front of other people. So we will just do our best.
Yes.
And that's part of the night. I think that everybody, we are as we are. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think something to be said about that, Anne, as I'm still letting people in the room here, something to be said about English and Canadian and Danish. And it's not so much even the words, yeah? It's more about the feeling. So I feel so blessed to have you all here. And sometimes I'm not understanding, as I am in Denmark right now and I'm living in Copenhagen, and I have a beautiful hostess who's in the room, Pernell. And I'm experiencing conversations sometimes where she's speaking with Anne and her friends. And it's interesting, even though I don't know the words and I might not understand all of the message, I am definitely seeing the feelings. Yeah. So if all that we do today is find a warm feeling in the room while we hear Anne and her experience, I am so glad that that is even possible. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to start by saying that I probably could have had a moderator because this is a busy room. So here we go. So Kind Mind began because the experience for me was that three principles had such a life inside of me when I came to them that I felt during COVID, and even more so just in the experience of meeting people in the community of Kind Mind, that the Canadian contingency, the people of Canada, had SID at their fingertips. Yet there was a point where a lot of people in Canada didn't know about it, including me. And so we were going to the States and to the 3PDK and to London, and we were having all of these experiences that were outside of my own community. And I made the decision, or I guess the source and essence of all things made the decision for me, that it was time to open up a room globally so that people from all over the world could come together and share the understanding of the three principles and share the wisdom and the journeys that so many of you have taken if you have the experience of being a part of this community, and that even Anne and I have had in just the idea that I could meet a woman from across the water, Pernella, and then Pernella could introduce me to Anne, and that Anne and I could get together in one conversation and make the decision to be here to share with all of you. And that was really lovely, right? And when we got together, it was about a month ago, we got together and we just had a very informal conversation around what Anne does and how she sees the principles. And I felt a beautiful, warm feeling with the three of us in the room that day. And so I said to her, would you like to come? Do you want to come and talk in the room? And she said, yes, absolutely, I do. And so I'm going to turn the room over, and she's going to just be able to share a little bit about her journey and what she's seen and some of the conversation that the three principles has offered her, and that she is spreading to the world with her wisdom and the things that she puts out for her clients, her friends, her partner, her family, and everybody that's part of her energy. So much love to you for coming to the room, my dear new friend. And yeah, take it away. I'll just put myself on mute. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, everybody. One of the things that I noticed about tonight, because actually right now I can feel my heart pounding a little stronger than I used to, But what I noticed that I start doing differently when I am, for example, out to talk tonight, I have much less thinking about who is gonna come, isn't who, how many people, what I'm gonna say, what will they think about me? All these questions that I used to think of and like stuff into my head, I do that much less than I've ever done before, and I find that freeing. So I would like to talk about that tonight. And I would also like to talk about that our journeys they are so different. So because it's easy to, yeah, I will go to that. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Anne Staerk Dickson, and I am a psychologist. I've been that for 15 years now, maybe a little more, and been working with clients for, yeah, ever since I graduated. And I have been working much traditionally, like many psychologists does. And then 3, 4, 5 years ago, I bumped into a new method in Denmark called metacognitive therapy, and it started my new journey about starting to see how much our thinking about life, our thinking about ourselves, our thinking about others, how much we like end up in our head, and how that gives us all these kind of feelings that makes us miss life actually. So I started to see, and I started to get a language about, oh, it's possible to do less of that. And I had never seen that before, because I used to think about it, figure things out, analyze, because I thought that was the way to do it. So I started to change my work with clients, and I found out that it helped a lot. People got better thinking less, and that was really, of course, nice, because it's always nice to see people get better. And then a little more than a year ago, so it's not that long, I met the principals, and something just happened inside of me. It's just like, I got this explanation about, okay, that's how we work. That's why I feel this way. I can do this. That's easier. So I started to see stuff that I've never seen before. And that's why I'm here today, because ever since I just been looking more and more in the direction of the 3 principles. So I would like to share some of my insights, some of the things I've seen just as me as a person, a human being, and also when I've been talking, because I've been so fortunate to talk to a lot of different people. So I've seen how this affects people, and that's a gift. So one of the things that I wanted to start with today is that, because I really felt a change in my life after meeting the 3 principles. I felt more at ease. I felt more peaceful, and I felt more easygoing in a way, and more brave. So it affected my life quite a lot, and I noticed that it has for a lot of people. But that also makes it so easy for all of us to start comparing ourselves and our own journey to the rest of the people in the 3P community. So I have been talking with so many people who have had a lot of thinking about, I don't get it. I'm not as happy as the other people. I haven't seen it probably since I still feel this way. So what I really would like today is to get out to let you know that if anybody of you are thinking these thoughts about, oh, I don't get it, something's wrong with me, oh, it only works for somebody else, not me, that too is an experience. And I think a lot of people, all of us, have had that thought probably. Oh, now I don't get it anymore. So I just talked to Kelly earlier today, and she said, and I love that because it tucked into what many of my clients say. Oh, I've been reading these books and I've seen it, but for a year now, and I still feel this way. I still feel this pain, or I still feel miserable. And Kelly just told me that you said something, Kelly. What was it you called yourself?
Oh, I was a hard sell.
Yeah.
In Canadian, it means, a tough cookie. It takes a while to break my thinking pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that because many of us, not all of you, some of you probably feel that you are wherever you're supposed to be, but my guess would be that some of you are also thinking, oh, when do I get it? Like, when is it my turn to feel good? Because that's what all of us really wants. We want to feel good. And we long for that feeling. So it's natural for us when we don't feel it to start searching for it and start to figuring out how to get it. And it's so easy to start comparing our own inside with others outside. So you see people having fun, you see on the Facebook or Instagram how people are, everything is good, and yet you feel different inside. So I just, before I start talking about my insights, I want to share with you that even though my life has changed, and it really has, I still get all the negative feelings. I still have all these thoughts about not being good enough and what will people think. And it's just part of life. And it can be really nice to know that it is for all of us. And it gets less and less. But what I notice is it doesn't have to leave me. I don't have to get rid of it, because I start to see it, what it is, made of thought. But not always. And sometimes I have bad days, probably like the rest of you. So just write in the chat, just write yes or no. Have any of you had this feeling that, oh, I don't get the 3P? Did you have that thought? Just out of curiosity.
Should I be the first one to write?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. So I see a lot of you know, and some of you don't, and that's just as it's supposed to be. So, and you probably heard this many times before, because I have heard it in many different contexts, but we can't be better or worse at 3P. That's just how we work. And the more we see that, the less we start doing with our thought. So I've been thinking about this, what I should talk about today. And I would like to talk about this. Kelly talked, if I could say something about being grounded. And for me, grounded is not a word that talks to my heart. It's just, when I think of to be grounded, it just means being able to be with whatever is, what is good and what is bad, with the experience that you have in the moment. And what I think all of us just want is to be able to be with whatever is, because we just want to feel good. We just want to be at ease. We just want to get back home to that feeling. And the thing that I started to see when I started to learn about the 3 principles was that it turned my head or my world upside down, because I used to believe that I needed to do a lot of stuff in order to feel good. So I knew that if I went for a run, I would be back home and feel good. Or if I was talking with my husband, I would feel good. Or if I really achieved something as psychologist, if I worked and had a success, I would feel good. So I used to have all these kind of things that I could do, because I thought that that was what made me have that feeling that I longed for. And I actually felt good, because it used to work with me. It used to, okay, I can do this, then I feel good, and I can do this, it makes me feel good. So I was not so much longing for the good feeling, because I felt, oh, I know what to do in order to get it. But the thing was that it felt so stressful, because I had to do a lot of stuff all the time. So I had this feeling that I didn't have enough time in the day, because always a lot of stuff that felt so urgent for me to do. What the principles helped me recognize is that it's the other way around. So if I do nothing, if I show up in this room and it was only me and Kelly and nobody else turned up, I would be okay, unless I started to think about it, right? So if I do nothing, I am okay. And then I started to see, oh, what I used to do was being okay. Then I had a lot of thinking about what to do, and then I felt uncomfortable or stressful or whatever. And then I started to do something about that feeling, and that even created more thinking. So it's not that what I didn't work. It's more that instead of being okay, thinking about a lot of stuff and getting good again, it's just easier to start thinking less, because then I am more in that feeling. And today I talked with a client who is a really painful place right now. But just that I knew that she was okay, she is okay, but for her thinking. Just to help me be with her in a completely different way than I used to be, because I used to feel, oh, we need to do something in order for her to be okay. But now it's just, she is already okay. But of course, I can help her discover that and discover how she makes up a lot of thinking that makes her feel bad. So today, one of the things that I've noticed that I do a lot, and probably, I hope, but I don't know, a lot of you do out there, is I really try to figure things out. I try to calculate stuff in my head in order to predict the future so that I can have the best result, be most happy. So I start to think about stuff that are not here, but I think that I can predict it. I kind of feel that I have control when I think about the future and what to do and what not to do. So if you were to just take a moment and think about what part of your life are you trying to figure out? So you might not be, but do you have any? For me, it's primary. Okay, how do I do it as a psychologist? So I have a lot of thinking of figuring out on how to be a psychologist. Some people have a lot of thinking about, okay, how do I be the best mom, or how do I find a partner, or what to do? So what's do you so if you feel, I don't know if you okay with writing that, but do you know the feeling that some specific subject in your life occupies your mind? You try to figure out what to do in order to plan the future in the best way. Try to just in the chat, or just write yes or no, or you feel free to write what kind of subject do you spend your mind working around. Could, yeah.
I got to say something, Anne, here because it came to me. Isn't it interesting that I even have thinking about that question?
Yeah.
Right?
No,
Oh, what do I want to say? What's it? Oh, yeah, let's think
yeah,
about that.
yeah, yeah. We do it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and
in the moment when somebody says that, like, here you go, here's a moment. I think about that moment. Like,
yeah,
what do I want to say here? When if I just lean back a bit, I know exactly what I want to say. Yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think it's that space, allowing the space to just be, okay, you're now thinking about the question.
yeah, yeah. And just to discover that, right?
Yeah. And how quick
Yeah,
sometimes I can see that,
yeah,
where, oh, now I'm thinking about the thinking around the question. Yeah, yeah. Here
exactly.
they come. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let me see what everybody's writing. Yeah, career. Yeah. So it also makes sense to, if our kids are not feeling good, how can we help them to figure out what to do? Different subjects. Somebody have a guest, so she needs to leave us. Relationship, yeah. My love life, struggling to feel that I'm good enough, yeah. How to stop ruminating and become happy again, yeah. Health issue, yeah. I want to work with this, yeah. I'm just so happy to not be worrying about what's going on. Yeah. So now it jumped, but so we have all this stuff going on in our head, and what we try to do, because of course we do it because we want to feel good. So we are thinking about all this stuff because we have a belief about that being helpful. So if I just figure it out, I will be a better mom, or if I really get this right, I will do good at my career. Or so we have these beliefs about thinking being helpful. And what I noticed, what I started noticing with myself is that I have absolutely no clue about what's going to happen in the future. I have no clue, and I can't control it. And if I have hurt myself talk about this some years ago, I would be freaked out, because I would be, okay, but what to do then? I need control. How will things go if I have no control? But what I've noticing is when I start to do less figuring out in my head, I fall more into that space that Kelly talked about. And then life is just much easier to handle. And I know pretty much what to do right now. But it's really difficult for me to know what to do in the future. So I will give you an example. I have two examples from my own life where I noticed that. So one was quite some maybe 6 months ago or something. I woke up in the morning. It was a Wednesday. I remember it really clearly. I woke up in the morning and my stomach ached. It was like, oh, I really felt bad. And I just wanted you, I don't know if you know the feeling that you want to go just lie in bed all day, because it feels just too much expectations and pressure out there. So you just want to stay in. And I remember thinking, okay, but why do I feel this way? Because I'm in my bed, it's warm, it's cozy, and my husband is right next to me. Why? What's happening? And then right there, I just saw that I had made up a problem in the future. So in my thinking, I started to go through something that I feared would happen. And it got so real to me that I also started to solving this imaginary problem. So I was just making up a problem that I try to solve in order to feel safe right now. Can you see it? And just in that moment, it was so clear to me that, hey, this future problem doesn't exist. I am just making it up. It's not there. But I hadn't noticed. And as long as it seems real, it makes sense for us to start solving it. But we are not able to, because we never know what it will look like in the future. So what I realized was, it's not there. It has not happened. It's just made up. And B, I also kind of knew that if it actually happens, if some of the stuff that I didn't want to happen actually turned out that way, it would be it would be right now that I had to deal with it. And almost always I know what to do right now. Right. So it was really helpful to me to see that I'm not able to control the future. And the more I try to, the more I want to solve it or plan or deal with it. All I'm doing is that I exchange my well-being right now for an illusion of control, because I don't have that control. I just think I do. So I will give you another example. I'm a psychologist, so I've been working with the principals 2 days a week for the last year, and then I've been employed in another company, and it's been perfect combination for me. But since the summer holiday, I had too much work in my own private practice, so I couldn't continue being both places. So I needed to make a choice. So I quit my job just to be 100% self-employed. And then what I noticed I started to do was that when clients called me, I just, yeah, come. So suddenly I just had too much. I had work overload. I had too many clients. And I felt stressful because it was more than I could actually handle. And then I realized, wow, right now I'm working so hard because I'm afraid that I won't have enough work in 2 months from now. So, and I was just, hey, that's not how life works, right? I I don't know how life would look like in 2 months from now. And I actually hope that I have more time than I do now. So that would be nice. But the thing I realized was that I just don't know, and that's okay. But the solution, I can't find the solution now on a problem that might be a problem in the future. I can't find that now. So I just starting to talk to clients when they call, say, yeah, but now I don't have time now. You're welcome in 2 months from now. And it just felt such a relief, because suddenly I started to just be with what made sense now instead of trying to fix the future. So what I notice when I see this is that I actually have less thinking about the future. I don't I spend much. It's always comes and goes, right? So it's not that it's not there, but I spend much less time thinking about the future than I used to. And that just helps me get more into the feeling in the now. And it's much easier for me to know what to do and what not to do, because I can feel it. I have less thinking. So I'm connected more with what is right for me and what is wrong. So being grounded for me, all of us are grounded. We are home. We have that feeling, but we have this habit of trying to figure things out, or we try to do stuff with them, with our thinking, and that just shadows it. So sometimes we don't feel grounded because we got into our thinking. And often it's because we want to figure things out in the future. We want to control it. We want to feel safe. We want to think that we do our best. And we try to do that by thinking. So, yeah. So what if we don't need to figure things out? What if we're just supposed to be with life as it is? What if we get the best experiences by just take one moment at a time and see what pops up in our mind? What if we can actually trust ourselves to handle whatever comes to us in that moment? What if we are actually designed to do that? What if all of you really knew that you were perfectly able to deal with whatever happened in your life. And I don't mean that life would just be perfect or it would be happy all the time, but if you just knew that you would be able to deal with the feeling of not being good enough, or with the feeling of one day feeling as a failure at your job, or one day being mad at your kids or worried, but you knew that that experience would leave again, and that you would get those thoughts that you needed to deal with whatever showed up in the now. So for me, the three principles has helped me plan less, figuring life out less, being okay with not being okay. And more trying just to be in the moment and experience what thinking just pops up, because I don't know. And I used to think I would knew how I felt, but now I don't know, and I kind of like that. So I feel that that life gets more, I don't know what will happen, but I feel more trust into myself and to life, and that's a good feeling. And that's not about me, because I'm not special. It's just about how all of us works. And if some of you are still caught up in worrying about the future, or thinking about yourself, or having these thoughts about not understanding the three principles good enough, that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It just means that you right now think you need to worry, or you need to solve this, and then just go on worrying or solving or whatever you need to do, and then one day you will notice that, oh, I don't need to do that anymore, and then it will let go. So you don't need to stop doing anything. Just do, because you're not doing it because you're a failure, or because you don't get it, or because there's something wrong with you. You're doing it because right now that's the best solution you can see. So that's fine. And it will let go. And for all of us. And we don't know when, but when time is, it will. So for me, it's just really important to say that we are all okay as we are. And I might sit here and be the psychologist, and I are talking about how I have seen stuff and my insights, and it's true, all of it, but I'm also just a human being, right? All of us are, and we share that. We share how we make up our experience, and the experience that we have from moment to moment can be very different. Of course they can. And we have our personal thinking, and it's related to whatever we have experienced in the future. We have this mind of us thoughts coming up, that's okay. So I have my personal thinking, Kelly has her personal thinking, all of you have your personal thinking. But it's all thinking, right? And when we start to noticing that, hey, it's not the truth about us. I can think about not being good enough, but it's not me, it's my thoughts, and they will leave again. When we start to see that it doesn't matter what the subject is, it's more the way it works. And that's something that is the same for all of us. We can't be better or worse at that. We're just at the same place. And I really like that. I like that. And what it also meant for me was, hey, it was the feeling that, hey, I used to be really good at like building up my career, and I wanted to be a really success as a psychologist because that made me feel good. So what I noticed is that, hey, if we are all the same, I don't need to be better than anybody else. I can just be me. And that for me, it was a relief. Oh, I don't need to do better. I don't need to do anything. So I don't need to try to be a success. And all of you that are thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, that's also thinking. It's just in the other direction. But we are all the same place. Yeah. So I think that was that. I don't know if you can say that in English. You say that in Danish, det var det. But I don't know. So what I would really love to do, of course, hear from you, Kelly, but I would also I really would like to make space and time for you to share whatever what you heard, or experiences, insights, or questions. And so yeah, so I would just like to invite all of you into the room with me, and yeah, talk about life.
I love it. I'd like to welcome anybody who'd like to. If you would like to raise your hand, feel free. The button's down below. Or if you just like to turn on your microphone and share or ask a question, the experience is open. I'm going to out myself in a way here. I sometimes find these conversations, and Anne, you definitely did this. I'm supposed to be the host and sitting and, sort of on my thinking says, be on point, Kelly, be ready when she's, going to turn
Yeah.
the room over. And meanwhile, today I was floating off into this beautiful experience in my own head, thinking about where my thinking is. I was thinking about our conversation before the room and just remembering, yeah, I'm making a lot of stuff up. I make stuff up in my head, and I believe, I'm sitting in Denmark right now, and it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. It's all going to be new. And trust me, every single thing is new, every single thing. And it's interesting to be in a place like this, having a free mind and having nothing on it. Because each experience I'm coming to, I've never witnessed before. I've never had, even toast in the morning. That was very different. And so just little things. So you're speaking to, this place where I got lost in the conversation, which really, they say Copenhagen is the land of freedom. So I was having such a free mind.
Ah.
So thank you for that. Would anybody else like to share or have any words that they'd like to express to Anna? Yes, Chris? I see that finger. Or I did.
Yeah. Hello. You can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi,
Hello.
Chris.
Hi. Well, I used to study psychology, and I remember there's a quote by R.D. Laing. There's a I think that you think that I think that you think that I think that you think that I think that you. Yeah. You see? And I remember finding that amusing and found that what he was saying was very spot on. But at the time, I didn't realize that was what I was doing myself. I didn't look at. So I think it's very important, as Sydney Banks is pointing to it. We have to look within. Mm-hmm. We have to see what we're doing to stop it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to realize that it's not out there.
Exactly.
What the others are doing. It's actually something going on inside of us.
Yeah.
I just felt like, and that's what I feel with the psychology is that you treat it as if this object or this thinking is nothing to do with me, but it certainly has.
Yeah.
So in order to work with the principles, you need to have the state of mind. Yeah. Yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's when the shift happens.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just my 5 cents. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. I say spot on. Spot on. Yes. We were talking about that where when we're pointing out, looking and seeking, and I think you even went like this, when we're looking outside, the 4 fingers are pointing back at self.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, was it Annette or Pamela? I don't know who's first. Please feel free, you guys.
Hi there, Annette here. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Anne for your speech. It really moved me, and it hit me a lot of different emotional places. What I think, I have never really worried about anything in my life. I have been a really spoiled, rotten person. I've had the best life. And then something happened that changed everything. And now I worry a lot because I was brought up. I always thought I had control. And I think maybe that's the loss of control, because I know for a fact that, of course, I did not control the future, but I was brought up believing I did. And I really think I had something to do with it. So even though I now know that I don't control the future and that I have to learn to be more in the now and not ruminate about what's going to happen and blah, 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 I fight with my lack of patience, because it's like a very slow process to me, because I've had 50 years of me believing I had control that I now realize I don't have. So how long time will this take? Will I ever, because I question myself if I will ever reach that point where it actually works for me. And I'm a metacognitive 4-year therapist, so I should know.
Yeah. Thank you, Annette, for your question. What I realized with the 3 principle is that we in metacognitive therapy, we talk about letting go of the thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about doing nothing.
Detached mindfulness. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that I noticed is that in a way that doesn't make sense, because thoughts are in nature fleeting. They come and go, right?
Yeah.
So if thoughts are still there, it's because we're holding on to them. So for me, in my way of thinking, it's more that realizing, oh, I'm the one keeping them here. Because when you realize that, it's easy to just let go.
Yeah, but at the same time, you also have to let go of the remaining 2% of still wanting to believe that you control it a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think I can. Yeah, because Annette, as long as you think there is like this little advantage in trying to hold on to these thoughts and trying to plan, you will still do it, of course, because, and that's not because you don't get it, it's because you think it still helps you a little.
Yeah, well, I should know that it doesn't. It hasn't so far.
No. What I talked to a client, and she went down to this black hole. She really felt bad, and she had all these thoughts about the principle doesn't work. It's just like everything else, and it's an illusion. And we talked about being with that without trying to solve it. And what she noticed when she started to let go was that, oh, I am actually holding on to feeling bad because I get so frightened by the thoughts about what will happen if I feel better and others' expectations to me. So suddenly she realized that, oh, I'm the one holding on to this because letting go feels too frightened. And then we were just, yeah, and that's fine. You can hold on to that. And then one day she said, oh, but I can also just see how it is to feel better. But I don't know you, but my guess would be that there is something inside of you that wants to hold on to it. But I don't know. But and it's not because there's something wrong. It's because you're trying to feel secure. You're trying to have this feeling of being able to control something.
Yeah, and maybe you're right.
I don't know. It's not. Yeah.
Can I add
Well,
something?
in any case, I really appreciate your insight. Thanks a lot for sharing, and thanks for creating the possibility, Kelly. I really appreciate it.
I just wanted to add something that I know is true for me, if it is worth anything, and that is absolutely everything that Anne has said, but also there's a feeling that comes when we have let go.
Mm.
And Sid would often point in the direction of the feeling. And that feeling is a place that is special to you, for all of us. And that's some of the indicator that we're opening up. Because when we're in a beautiful feeling, there's no room for control.
Wow. Thanks.
Thanks for coming. Lovely to meet you.
And I don't know with you, Kelly, and I don't know with you, Annette, but more than the struggle inside, it might not be so much that we have these feelings or worries, but more the fight that we don't want to be worrying, right? We don't want to feel this way. So it's not so much that we have a bad experience or we're not feeling as comfortable as we would like to. It's more that we want to change that and feel better than we actually do. And that's when we start to struggle with it. And I know that from myself. So it's not you, it's not anybody. It's just as long as we don't want what is, then we struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Pam. Hiya.
Hi. Something dropped in for me, which was the discussion around the problems that I create for myself. And that was like a huge, almost my world sort of blew up. It's like every problem I think I have, I created. And how so many of them are from lack. Don't have a job. I don't have enough money. I don't know my next career.
Yeah.
And, you know, as I was waiting to speak, what came into that now empty vessel was that, why don't I create problems like, how will I spend all the money that I'm going to make in the career that I really want to have? How will I turn away clients? How will I, you know, what will I do with all the extra time I'm going to have? And just the sheer power to create problems. I can create wonderful problems. So thank you so much for that insight.
It's not us, we didn't give it to you. But thank you for sharing. Yeah.
I didn't know who was going to say that first. I love it. Yeah. Hi, William. Thanks, Pam. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Pamela, for sharing. Yeah.
I love your enthusiasm and the enjoyment that you seem to be having. And I did a little interesting experiment while you were talking. At times I muted myself so I didn't hear anything. And then I come in and out. And I guess that's what struck me, is that's one of the ways I approach life too. When I'm just so quiet, and I love that feeling. And then I get out in the wind, and now it seems that an option I have is to face into the wind because it feels pretty brisk and cool and whatever. So it's actually, instead of avoiding it, I want to meet it. But that gets close to trying to get into the figuring and the thinking about it. So that's why I say that it's almost like there are two ways I can go at any moment. Just do nothing, be with myself. And also I can go into the thoughts. It's like understanding how the mind works has made it so much easier for me to navigate in my world. And even when I say mind, I love it that they're not my thoughts anymore. And that gives me a lot more flexibility, or no, freedom. So anyway, I love being more with myself, particularly when I don't know what to say. And then I just enjoy being silent more. So anyway, thank you. And Kelly, once again, I love the kind of, it's like fixing a meal that you put some kind of sauce over all the food and it tastes pretty even better. So that's what I say.
I love the analogy. Thanks, Bill. It's
Thanks.
great. Yeah, I think I'm just sitting here reflecting about what everybody's saying. And there's that place where, and you're bringing some view for me around, that place where I am sitting back and I give enough room. We were talking about that with new psychologists and new coaches, where we give room to be between what we really want. I want that and I want this, and all our thinking about it. And I'm just sitting in that, just expanding that reflection about, where I catch myself, as Pamela said, where I create a problem. Yeah, it's beautiful. We have my lovely Brenda.
Hi, Anne, beautiful. I love the pronunciation. Thank you, and thank you, Kelly, for gathering us. I have this feeling in my guts right now, and it's like it's it's that place where something is bubbling to come and something is bubbling and leaving. So it's that, I'm almost in a panic about it and thinking, I let that just all go. And that's where, that's the idea of just moving through this space, like, the word, like the precipice, like being on the edge, to just fall forward and trust, or to slip back and know what you know. And that's where I'm sitting at the moment. How I'm just thinking, what's my very one thing to say? How do I just move from that?
Thanks, Brenda. And it might be my English. Is it a question, or is it more it is a question?
It's a share, but I'm also
Yeah.
here. I'm in this space, like it's to, this way or this way. And it's like, being on that and trying to figure out where that ground is, so that I can just stay and bloom, flower.
Yeah. And I don't have the answer. and I almost said I wish I did, but actually I don't, because it's much more wonderful for you and me that the answer is inside of you.
Of course. And you know what? That's the right answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love it. There's a feeling in both places. There's a feeling, that guides us. And I always look for that. I always look for that. Thanks, Brenda. Susan. Geez, I'm getting all the neighbors together here. Hello, friend.
Oh, hello, Kelly. I didn't know you're in Copenhagen. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you for these meetings and for the recordings. I haven't been able to attend in person, so it's such a treat to be able to be here today. And thank you, Anna, for everything you're saying. And I'm just new to the principles, but I've read some of Sid's book and Dickson Bettinger's. Yeah. Coming Home Again. Yeah, Coming Home. And I just find them so amazing and helpful. And I'm getting better at letting go, but then I just reel myself back in and just sort of get back into that stinking thinking. And I'm going, okay, why is there some, like, why is it so hard to just let go and then be done with it? Am I gaining something by still hanging on? I'm trying to figure that out. Like what's keeping me from just being done with things, with all my worries. So yeah, I don't know if I don't know if other people have had this, but I wish I could just flick that switch and it would just stay that way.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Susan. And I have two things that I would like to share. One of them is that all of us get into this sticky thinking stuff. And the more we want to get rid of it, the more it will stick to us. Mm-hmm. Right? So we try to get it out of our head, or we try to do something about it, but it doesn't work that way. It's just, it's like if you have on Facebook, if you think about thought, you have this advertisement, what is it called in English? Ads popping up. Yeah. So if you think about your thoughts as ads popping up on Facebook, right? All these old thoughts popping up. And if you every time there's an ad coming up, you click on it to see more. Oh, about this. Then the ad would start coming more, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Many of us try to get rid of the ads by clicking on to get it out of our head, because we don't want it. We know that it's not good for us, so we want to get rid of it. And when we do that, the computer, our brain, is not so smart. So every time we put the cross to get rid of the ad, the computer thinks that we're interested.
Yeah.
So every time we try to get rid of something, our brain misunderstands and keeps sending us the same thoughts, right? So what we can do the best is to notice the ads, and they might feel hurtful, or they might have all these bad feelings connected to them. But the best we can do is just to experience them and wait for them to leave by themselves. Because if we try to get rid of them, we will reinforce them. And it, I think all of us understands, when we feel bad, we want to get rid of it, right? Of course we do. That's the most logic in the whole world, that we want to get rid of stuff that feels bad. So what we need to experience is that the best we can do is to have it, and then it will let go.
Wow, thank you so much. Brought tears to my eyes.
Thank you, Susan. Bettina, please. Welcome. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's very exciting to be part of this Zoom. Hello, Anne. It's nice to see you.
Hej, Bettina. Hvor dejligt.
I would just like to share, I don't know if this is going to help anyone, but, and I'm quite new to the principles, but I kind of feel like it, even though you can't put it into words, it kind of put into words what I already felt. And it was like coming home. It was just amazing. One of the things I now can see was an insight a few years ago, was that I've been brought up to believe that it's very important to understand people. I spent a lot of my life trying to understand, and particularly my husband, and I just never really did. But I was so desperate to, that I spent so much energy trying to understand. And then suddenly one day I just realized, why do I need to understand so much? What does it matter? Can't I just accept the way he is, and it's different from me? And it was like 50 kilos dropped off my shoulders, because it didn't matter, and it didn't make any difference whether I believed I understood it or not. It was just so much easier. And I feel like the principles have shown me that that also we are so obsessed with wanting to understand our thinking and other people's thinking, and we also desperately want to understand. I feel like I've spent my life also analyzing and asking why this, why that, and I just find myself now, when other people overanalyze and talk about why, I just think it's such a waste of time. It doesn't matter why. It really doesn't matter. And I believe that so strongly, so deeply now, that I just feel like I'm literally weightless because of it. And it's just, I don't know if it's something you can just know by me sharing my story, but I wish I could give that gift to people, because it's just makes your life so much easier. And I mean, I lost my husband just over a month ago from, he's been ill for a year, very, very sort of abruptly. And it has really helped me, because we didn't talk about why he got a brain tumor. We didn't worry about why. We didn't want to understand it. We just accepted it, and we just were in it. When people were talking about how my husband would be fighting it, and we just said, no, he's not fighting it. He just is. He's existing with it. Because if you fight something and you lose, then you're a loser. And he was not a loser. And no one is a loser. And I'm so grateful that we managed to see all of these things before he died, because it's turned something really horrible, and I miss him terribly. But it was also beautiful. And I just wanted to share that with people, that it even when horrible, painful things happen, it can also be beautiful. I wasn't even going to tell you that, but it just came out. Sorry. Yeah. So, but thank you so much for you, Kelly and Anne. It's been brilliant.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was very beautiful, and my sincere condolences. Yeah. Lovely to have you. I just want to bring the focus to a chat, if that's okay, Anne. Michael had said, and it said, I'm thinking when I hear you, I can't fix the future right now with the feelings I have right now. I don't know if he's here, if he can share about it. Are you here, Michael? Yeah. Would you like to share about that? I thought that was a really intriguing point, and I'm sorry it's taken me so long to address it. And if not, we can just scroll through. It's all good. Maybe, Anne, you could share on it, or just say what you think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just trying to go into the chat.
It's at 648, you'll find it. It was just an interesting point that I thought was really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a thing I was thinking when Anne said something, and it just came in my mind that I'm also worrying a lot, but I'm trying not to, because it doesn't work anyway. So it helps me to think that the thoughts I have right now doesn't help me in the future. So just stop having those thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Michael. Michael. And what I would like to share something, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because what I also just think that we need to take into consideration when we talk about the 3 principles is that all of us have our personal thinking, right? Mm-hmm. So we have different Facebook ads that we used to click on. Mm-hmm. So our personal thinking is just full of thoughts that keep popping up because we used to give them attention. Mm-hmm. So if we keep having a lot of worrying thoughts, or thoughts about ourselves, or thoughts about whatever, it can be really, really freeing to notice, just as William said, that these are not my thoughts. I didn't order them. It's not me who want them to come into my mind. They just pop up because of my brain. It's quite outdated, right? It just keeps bringing into my mind what I used to think about, and it's not personal. It doesn't say anything about me, and it has nothing to do with the future. It's just what my brain is used to do. Like, so what fires together, wires together is just old neurons. And when we start to see that we might get all these thoughts and they keep coming, but they are not important, and they are absolutely have nothing to do with us. We don't need to deal with them. It's much easier to let go, or not to grab onto them.
I don't have to care about my ads, and I don't have to care about your ads. And
exactly.
I love what Bettina had to say.
Yeah.
And rather than saying, I've become so much less attentive and believing whatever I say, whatever the thought is. But I think it's much nicer to look at, instead of me, I don't care what I think, I don't care what you think. I like your analogy ads, because how many times do I have to get rid of those ads?
Exactly.
So anyway, Bettina, I thought that was great.
I have to add something. The other day we were talking, Penella and I were talking, and I can't remember what it was about, but I said something like, you're not in my algorithm. And it was like, no, sorry, that's not part of my movement. And I said, no, that's the name of a book. You're not in my algorithm. Same, hey?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I'm noticing about, the part of what to get rid of stuff is I had an experience 6 months ago. I had put an article on my blog about we don't feel others' thoughts about us. We feel our own thoughts about others' thoughts, right? So I had written something about it, and it also just means the solution that I just need to let go of my own thoughts, right? So I don't know what people think about me. It doesn't matter. It's just my thoughts that I feel. And then I clicked, and it went out on the internet. And the rest of the day, all I thought about was, what do other people think about that? So, and I was just that, okay, leave the thoughts alone, It doesn't matter. It's just your thoughts, right? And it was just so, and I didn't do anything about it. I just noticing, and it stayed with me for the whole day. And then 3 weeks ago, I just realized, hey, I'm actually not indifferent. I like when people like me.
Mm-hmm.
I actually appreciate that.
Yeah.
So it's okay that I care.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I need to do any stuff in order to make them think something specific about me, because I can't control that.
No.
And whatever they think is not about me. It's about how they feel and what their thoughts. But it's also okay that I just care. And sometimes that's just realizing, and that's okay. I mean, yeah. So it was just being with what is, and you don't know what pops up in your mind, right?
Mm-hmm. It's and even better if you add and it's absolutely okay that you do and don't, or think or don't, right? It's absolutely okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's still freeing.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't need to do something about their ads. That's not in my job description.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. That's their life, their thoughts, right? And I have my own thoughts, and sometimes I think about, what other things, and that's also okay. I mean, most of us.
I feel like that conversation you've just breached here is like a whole nother conversation, about what we take personally or not personally, how we see it, the likes on Facebook, who's coming, who's not. This is a beautiful conversation that for sure it's definitely something that's going on currently for now. And I love the way you pose that, because your thinking is not their thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we're almost to the end. Okay. Beautiful people of Denmark and Scandinavia and Canada and all around the world. I have Sweden, I have USA, I have lovely, lovely people here. And I just want to know, before we close the room, if anybody has anything they'd like to add or say or bring forth. Yeah, Bettina's just written something here. Where's the chat? Here. I've lost my chat. Yeah, not be responsible for other people's experiences. Exactly. We have enough of our own. Yeah. And I think too, in the service business of helping and healing and well-being, we have that heart in us, you know, that really wants to give. Hence why Anna's here today. So, my dear friend, might this be a beautiful place to close? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been an amazing experience with all of you. I thank you so much for coming. And please do say hello to me. If you haven't already, we're not friends. I would love to continue the conversation with all and any who would like to do that. And clearly, Anne and I have a little bit more beautiful unfolding to do. We spoke about some interesting thoughts around a collaborative connection together. So, bye-bye, Chris. Thank you for coming. And if you'd like to unmute and say goodbye to Anne before you leave, please do so. And
I just thank you so much for sharing in the chat or sharing
your contribution.
The video. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It does make the conversation so much richer. Yeah, I do thank everybody.
Ja, altså virkelig, de af jer, der forstår dansk, altså hjertet tak, fordi I ville bruge en aften sammen med os. Og,
ja.
Tak, Anne.
Tak. Tak til dig.
I lige måde, Anne. Tak for det.
Mange tak, Anne.
Tak.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
I think this is officially the first time we've had second languages speaking in the room. It's so beautiful.
Thank you so much, Anne and Kelly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
And thank you, Kelly. And thank you, Anne.
Good night.
Selv tak, Pernille.
Tak, Kelly.
Hej.
Night.
Hej, Charlotte.
Hej, Anne.
Hej.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah. Celia. Love you. Yeah. My friend, dear Philip, great to see you. Bye, everybody. Good evening. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye, Elena.